Okay, so don't forget, if you have questions, please pen them down and ask very freely on the issues we spoke about. Okay, so the introduction page is just 2 marks. Some people ignore it, but then you don't know when 2 marks will help you, especially when you are toggling between 48, 49. So this introduction page, you're just trying to say, this is what the project is all about after your executive summary. Excuse me. So you are speaking to the report and what it's all about, much more in detail now than what you did in the executive summary. So if you look at the introduction, we spoke about the requirement 1 and 2 in 5 lines. And we also spoke about the analysis. We said we used trend. We almost replicated what we did in the executive summaries introduction, but then we made it a bit elaborate because we have space. And the introduction page is part of the examiner's format. So we spoke to that extensively. Then take note of the analysis and also the review of financial information. We said in reviewing the information, it is essential to note there are significant reservations due to the lack of complete financial data, including projected cash flows, cost breakdowns for key inputs such as packaging and fertilizer, and the absence of a detailed revenue forecast from this supply contract. We said these meeting documents limit the ability to fully assess the visibility and sustainability of Detoy Farms plans and may hinder accurate decision making. So this is an addition based on the introduction page. So that is 1 mark for the introduction. Then the second aspect is the report outline. So this is another 1 mark. May look insignificant, but then if you have time, please do it. The report outline speaks to a direction on navigating how to locate your data, just like a project or the project we write in school for our BSc, our masters. You're just trying to say, this is where my information is. This is where the data I've submitted is. So for the cover page, it's the second page on this document, because I already put the examiner's report on the first page. But in your exams, the first page is actually your cover page. So that should naturally come as number 1. The executive summary, 2 pages, 3 and 4. Then the introduction is the 5th page. Like that, you take it sequentially if you have time to do that. And this should be at the final stages of your exams. This is also 1 mark. Just a full page of your introduction and your report outline will suffice. So it's an order in the way you wrote. So this is the 3rd thing after your cover page and the 4th thing after your cover page and your executive summary, the examiner sees. So he sees, okay, these are the page outline and this is how he can follow your report. It just gives structure and clarity to what you're doing. So the next page is another 2 marks, and you briefly state the background of the case. And the background of the company you're studying is Detoy Farms. So it's already stated in the exhibit, so you don't need to copy and paste everything. It's a long write for you. So you just summarize its background to earn 1 mark. Then you also state the challenges or limitations in your review or analysis, which is also another mark. So you have 2, and you have already another 2, which is 4 marks. Introduction page, 2 marks, plus the report outline. Then the background and the scope and limitation is another 2 marks. So you have 4 marks. A lot of people don't do it, but then you don't know when 4 marks will help you. So the background and the scope and limitation speaks to the limit you have in your review. What are the challenges? So we are not giving cash flow statements, no projected cash flow, no statement of changes in equity, no other comprehensive income. And we're just giving 3 years. So we don't know what happened in other years when the company started and all that. So that has a limit on our review and our analysis. So that's 4 marks, and you do that after the exam. So generally speaking, if you do this significantly to some extent, you should be able to ace the case study paper practically. And don't forget, listening to these lectures is not enough. Knowing the technique, the structures, and everything I've done may sound fascinating to you. You may be fascinated and happy, okay, I've gotten it. But if you don't practice, you see, it's like telling you how to eat. This Kentucky chicken is very sweet. You eat it like this, eat it like this, eat it like this. If I eat it and you don't eat it, you'll never know the taste. So what does that mean? No matter how fascinated you are, how I've taught you the technique and how it applies, if you don't go and practice it yourself, you will not pass case study. That's just the truth. You have to do it yourself. So like I can't eat for you to grow. I can't write case study for you. I've written my own and I've passed my own. So it's your turn to go pick this document and other documents and sit down by yourself, process it, write it, and practice it yourself. And that will harness your communication and your technical skills. So please do that. I'm glad we are, after every 2 chapters, treating past questions so that we can get our self-exam ready. I'm impressed that we are attending lectures on time. A lot of people now will not attend lectures, and it's around maybe October. You start seeing them attending lectures when we are almost through. Fire brigade approach. I'm glad you're not using that approach. Don't do that for ICAN. Fire brigade approach rarely works except for extremely intelligent people. Extremely intelligent people. Fire brigade hardly works. Early preparation works because of the volume of data, volume of information you need to process, and you need time to process it and practice. And if you are somebody taking 2, 3, 4, 5 papers, you can't afford to do fire brigade approach for ICAN, except if you want to keep dashing them money to be flying about and planting flower with your hard-earned funds. But if your aim is to pass at first attempt or at this November 2025 attempt, you've started on a clean slate. Please attend all the lectures. If you don't want to do self-study, please read by yourself. Read by yourself. Whatever method you are using that resonates with you, do it early. And I'm glad, even though we are few here, but I've noticed consistency of some candidates. Please follow through, keep practicing, keep learning, keep going through the materials. You will not have pressure under 4 hours. A lot of people have pressure under 4 hours because they always find out, or it's either fire brigade approach they employed, or there's a challenge with understanding the concepts. And that came maybe as a result of short time to cover those concepts. Okay, so that's a brief advice. Haven't concluded on this. So I've shared the solution on the platform. You have the solution with you on the group. So check your WhatsApp. You can print it. You can use the soft copy. But by all means, just ensure you still go back to read, because after the second chapter, we'll still look at, this is November 2019, we'll look at May 2020. Sorry, it was not May, it was March, June 2020. And that's even a tougher and very stubborn question. I was going through it and I was like, wow, this diet was tough. So we'll look at it in the next 2 classes, after 2 chapters. So the next chapter we'll be looking at is financial data analysis. Then business, the chapter 4 is either business strategy or something topic. So after that, we'll take a past question. So after each 2 chapters, for the 11 chapters we have, we take a past question so it will resonate with us. We'll understand the techniques as we're going through the case study text, and it will help us ace the paper, hopefully. Okay, so I'll take questions now before we move to chapter 3. Any question so far on what we've deliberated on? Any observation, any comment? Please go ahead, feel free and speak.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for the lecture.
Evening, AK,
Really
I can hear you. You're welcome. Thank you for the kind words.
My question is, you last on Tuesday you talked about the headers that on no account should we use the examiner's header, and you pointed at the financial statement analysis section for requirement 1.
Yes.
That we should never use that. So
Yeah.
that we should use your kind of header or anyone that resonates with us. So
Yes.
I'm thinking if we use something like evaluation of financial performance, is it still okay?
Fantastic. As long as the requirement asks you to do evaluation of financial performance, please use it. So whatever words you want to use, let it be the same with the requirement. It's not that the requirement says you should assess revenue streams, cost, overhead. You now say evaluation of financial performance. There's a dichotomy. So whatever the examiner says, in any way you're coining your words, let it be the same. So that from the requirement, of course, these days you even say requirement 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5. Just know that 1 and 2 is requirement 1, 3 and 4 is requirement 2. So whatever you are coining out of it, let it be almost the same, even if the words are different. So if you are saying evaluation of financial performance, let that be exactly what he asked for, maybe in longer form. Let it be the same. That's what we are saying. So you are correct. You can say evaluation of financial performance. But under this November 2019, I don't think that will come, because what he said is key revenue, cost, and overheads stream. So you cannot say financial alone because he's specific. So coin it in a way that it looks like what the requirement states. I hope that's a bit clear to you.
Yeah, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay.
Secondly, sir.
Yes, please.
Case study questions are 2 requirement questions.
Exactly.
In the situation where we have other sub requirements. We know that financial statement analysis is the requirement 1. Financial data analysis is the requirement 2. What about now a kind of sub requirement under requirement 1 and of course under requirement 2? How are we going to incorporate those sub requirements in the 8 key boxes?
Okay, fantastic. So just merge them together into 2 requirements. So where you have 1, 2, he's just elaborating or extending the requirements to test how you're able to merge requirement 1 and requirement 2. There are always basically 2 requirements. So when we look at May 2025, we'll be looking at this next diet, maybe by chapter 10 or chapter 11. We'll still look at May 2025 review like this kind of class. So I will show you how to merge requirement 1 and 2 in just 2 requirements. So the 2 requirements is not that they have specific boxes. No, the extra requirement is the same way we did this November 2019. So you just merge the requirement, understand the extension between maybe Roman numeral 1, 2, that's requirement 1, merge it together. Then requirement 2, he has extended it under Roman numeral 3, 4, or 5, possibly. Just merge those 3 together. Understand his words. It's just a way of examining and testing he doesn't want to come up and say this is requirement 1 or requirement 2. So lately he has been doing that to test candidates' knowledge of if they know how to coin requirements together. So they are the same 2 requirements, and also the boxes are the same at the same time. So it's 8 boxes. There's no special requirement or special boxes for a requirement. The requirement 1 is the same 8 box. Requirement 2 is the same 8 box. So I think it will be graphical, or you understand it more when we treat the just concluded diet May 2025 in our debrief section. So look out for that, and I'll also take note and call your attention to it.
All right, sir. Thanks.
All right. Please, I love these questions. Very fantastic questions. Any other one by UAK? Go ahead, because they will help address a lot of challenges candidates have. I hope you have more. Or are you done?
Somebody is raising his hand again.
Oh, okay. I'm not seeing the hand. Oh, okay. All right. AA, please go ahead. I saw your hand.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, thank you very much for this. It's actually very, very eye opening. Because the first exam I wrote, possibly I don't know how the lecture was, but it's not like this at all. And this is very much structured and very, very direct to basically the requirement. So my challenge is this, just like we are saying as regards, um, for instance, we are able to do your requirement one, you are or going on to requirement two, and we couldn't finish up. Just like you have advised, you said we should go ahead to write our executive summary. So I'm trying to see how we will be able to coin things to summarize such a way that it would include the requirement two conveniently, because we have not written so much on it before.
Thank you very much for that question. A big challenge, and I also faced that challenge. So first and foremost, thank you for the kind words and the acknowledgement. I appreciate it. So that's one challenge I also faced. I wrote May 2019 diet that did not require executive summary. There was no executive summary up till May 2019. It was two requirements and you just write your report. It was 2019 that I introduced executive summary and also pre-scene. Now, the May 2019 diet I wrote was very challenging. But you see, no matter how much you practice, that time management is still going to be a challenge. So like you've rightly pointed out, what you should do is, as much as you've practiced, write and follow the format. So for requirement one, of course, a lot of people used to be done with it. And in my own case, I overflogged requirement one. I overwrote. I was not supposed to spend that much time on requirement one. It's because it was sweet and I had a lot of things to write. But you need to tame and caution yourself so that you can appropriately assign some time to requirement two. Of course, it may be practically impossible for you to finish, but then it's still possible. Some people write faster than me. What I experience may not be your own reality in the exam. You could be faster, you could be slower. So what I recommend is, once you've done requirement one to a particular point, do your executive summary for requirement one and start requirement two. By the time you start hearing 30 minutes more, 30 minutes. So instead of writing the detailed part, go to the requirement two and start summarizing your executive summary. Now, what the examiner wants to see is that you're following the format and the steps. By the time you stop at a point, following that format, he knows, man, it's time that is the challenge. Of course, every examiner marking the case study or any other paper knows time is the restraint and the constraint. So they give you the marks. In fact, I was shocked when I scored 78 because I know I was just at a point in requirement two. I had not even gone to either the third box, and the next thing is submit your paper. And I submitted, I was like, I didn't do requirement two that much. But when the result came out, he told me that, oh, you were in the process. The examiner saw that. And he just gives you your mark. It's normal for examiners. I mean, this guy is going towards a particular direction, but he stopped because he couldn't go on because of the instruction. So in answering your question, yes, you have a challenge with requirement two. I must admit, but start the process. By no means should you leave requirement two unanswered. It shows a time management deficiency or unpracticed time technique. You didn't practice, you didn't utilize your time technique during practice very well. If requirement two is not attempted, is a big challenge. The case study paper. People have asked me, can I do requirement one and pass? I say it's a yes or a no. Yes, in the sense that I'm not the one marking, but no is stronger because you flaunted the examiner's instruction. You have to attempt both requirements. He didn't say answer. Attempt it. So requirement one, of course, most of the candidates finish on time, but requirement two, at least start it to some points. What you are writing should resonate with what you've calculated. And also, if you can pen down 1 or 2 thoughts on the executive summary, it's fine, but he will give you your marks. The guy that wrote scored 57 says, I didn't even know what I was writing requirement 2. I said, don't worry. You follow the format. He said, yes. And the result came out, he scored 57. So just follow the format. Do as you are, as you've learned. And I believe you will ace the paper. I hope that answered your question.
Very well, sir.
All right. Thank you for that. Any other question, please? Okay, you wanted to ask more questions, or you're okay?
Maybe in the course of the lecture, I will ask them.
Okay, that's fine. All right, NA has not asked. I know ZM has asked one question during the NA. You've not said anything. Are you okay with the lectures? Are you okay with the past paper we just reviewed? You're muted if you're speaking. Anna is not following. I hope she has not slept. Okay, so I've shared the solution. So go ahead and utilize it. I will also have the debrief session on YouTube for you to go back also to